Oh, I can't snap. A few months ago, I decided to quit my job and take a month-long trip to Indonesia. Why did I do this? Well, I've always been interested in learning more about my grandmother. She has so many rich life experiences that I don't get to hear about often since she lives so far away. We only ever got to visit Indonesia every 3 or 4 years, and when you're a kid, when you're visiting family, you tend to take it for granted. This time, I wanted to take hold of the opportunity to go see her, film and preserve her stories and recipes, and learn to cook from her. Having been at my job for over a year, I realized that my health was declining, my social life was non-existent, and mentally I felt like I was at a crossroads with my future. I didn't really know where to go from here. I finally decided that it would be the perfect time for me to take a month-long trip and work on a project that I've been dreaming of pursuing for quite a while now. In order to pursue this dream, there was a big challenge that stood in my way. This was my long history with dizziness. In my case, dizziness manifests itself every day. It varies in degrees, and sometimes I have a good day where I'll be able to go throughout my day and daily life and do everything that I need to do, and I'll be okay. Other days, it gets a lot worse. So I have this baseline dizziness, and there are a few triggers, or many triggers, that kind of spur on the dizziness. And after that, it could mean that I'm out for a few hours or even up to a few days, sometimes a week. That's more on the rare side, but it's pretty unpredictable and I never really know when it'll hit. When I say dizziness, I kind of mean a bunch of different feelings: unsteadiness, loss of balance, feeling overwhelmed in the head. I rely heavily on my eyes to make sure that I am balanced, so I easily get motion sickness. When I do daily tasks like laundry and I have to go up and down, or go to the grocery store and look up and down the aisles, look at all the different colors of things and brands, my eyes definitely get overwhelmed, and it tends to make me lightheaded and dizzy and just disoriented in general. So asking how I would be able to pursue this while I had this history with dizziness was the first thing that my parents asked me when I told them that I wanted to travel for a month. They asked me, how are you going to do that if you get dizzy so often? Will you be able to manage such a busy schedule while doing this project when the risk of getting dizzy and not being able to function for even days on end was so high? How will you deal with transportation and motion sickness when it gets triggered so easily, especially in unknown places and places where there are a lot of uncontrollable factors? Are you sure about this? These were really valid questions, and questions that I was honestly asking myself. I too was worried and anxious about all these things, and I didn't know how I was going to travel. What would it be like to be in another country? Although I've been there in the past, my dizziness has gotten worse over the years, and I didn't know the answer to these questions. All I knew is that I wanted to prove people wrong, and I wanted to prove it to myself and challenge myself to believe that I could do it. As I prepared for the trip, I tried to look for resources to help reassure myself that I would be able to do this and that I would be fine. I hoped that I would find something to help set myself up for success traveling with dizziness, but I found very little on the subject. Despite all these unknowns, I decided that I didn't want to let my physical shortcomings get in the way of my goals and dreams. I wanted to both document what works for me, what doesn't, and inspire other people who might also experience dizziness to go out and try things that they would normally be afraid of. I want to document my journey with dizziness, the everyday to traveling, and I want to compile resources and lessons to hopefully ease the minds of those who want to travel or just do everyday things in life. I think it's really important that everyone has the chance to be able to do the things that they really want to do and love without the fear and anxiety of something like dizziness getting in their way. So if you're here because you know me personally and want to kind of understand what's going on behind the scenes, I don't really talk about this too often unless you're a really close friend, then welcome. And if you're here because you also experience some type of dizziness, I'm glad you're here. I'm sorry that you have dizziness. It's a rough time, and I hope that this will be somewhat helpful in the future. I hope that as I learn more about my dizziness, I will be able to help bring awareness to other people who also felt like me and didn't feel like anyone around them had the same feeling and felt very misunderstood. The biggest help for me in my journey so far has just been on YouTube, searching up random symptoms and trying to figure out what I had, and I still don't know, but I have decided to commit myself to going to the doctors and going through this whole process of trying to figure out what's wrong with me again. And I'm trying to be a lot more patient this time and a lot more realistic with what doctors can do for me. Thanks for listening. I'll catch you later.